All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, Gervonta Davis has a new fan that agrees with me about what he is in boxing, and that is the top pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
One of the best ones out there is what they don't know gets less respect for it, but one of the best ones out there. Now his mouth a little different, you know what I'm saying? He's a different kind of character when it comes to the mouth. Yeah. Because that's where he's from. But he's really one of the pound, the best ones of the coop. And I'm gonna tell you why he's the best one of the coop to me. He can punch, but he also can box. You understand me? Some that can box can't punch. Some that can punch can't box. He can box, he can punch, he can move laterally, he can do the left side, right side, he can do whatever he needs to do as a southpaw to get the job done. And that's saying a lot, because not many guys can do that today.
Also, it looks like Oscar De La Hoya may be trying to play a little bit of a game and get one of his fighters to be the guy that Gervonta Davis fights next, William Zepeda. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division, where we're waiting to find out what the next fights are going to be in the championship fights. You have Gervonta Davis, who's the WBA champion, Shakur, who's the WBC champion, Lomachenko is the IBF champion, and Berincic is the WBO champion. An order had come through from the WBC just yesterday that ordered a purse bid between, well, they didn't order the purse bid, but they said that the purse bid will be held on a certain date, which means that they've already started their, what you call the free negotiation period for a fight between Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda. However, Oscar De La Hoya came out and said that he didn't want the fight, and that the one thing about William Zepeda is that he's so good. I think he called him badass. He's so badass that he can go to any sanctioning body and be the mandatory in any sanctioning body. Well, guess who he's in the mandatory position to fight next? Gervonta Davis. He is the #1 rated guy by the WBA. And Gervonta Davis has not fought a mandatory in well over a year. His last fight was Frank Martin. That was not a mandatory. That was a voluntary fight. He fought Ryan Garcia before that, and that was out of the weight class. He fought the 130-pound champion before that, Hector Garcia. And the last fight that he had before that was Rolly Romero, and that was his last. And that was his last mandatory. So that mandatory is coming up. And if I'm Oscar De La Hoya, instead of getting William Zepeda beaten in a snooze fest against Shakur Stevenson, well, I don't understand how that can be a snooze fest, really. Because William Zepeda throws so many punches, man. He's very, very aggressive, throws a lot of shots. But Shakur is probably going to douse a lot of water on a lot of the activity that he has there, especially if Shakur can't hurt him. And I think that Shakur is most definitely going to win that fight. Either way it goes. So it seems to me that the more logical way to go for Oscar De La Hoya is to see if he can get Shakur Stevenson, that he can get William Zepeda to be into the mandatory position for Gervonta Davis, which Oscar De La Hoya knows put more money in his pocket put more money in his pocket fighting with having a fighter of his fight Gervonta Davis than any other fighter had put in their pocket since Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin 1 and 2. But whatever the case is, that's really where I think that they're going to wind up being at. Now, as far as somebody finally coming around to what I've been saying for a long time, that Gervonta Davis is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Roy Jones Jr. finally said this, and he said this on an interview with Man, the NBA basketball player who used to be on Showtime a lot. Please forgive me for not remembering his name. I think his last name's Jackson. Steven Jackson. That is Steven Jackson. Please excuse me. Getting old. Remembering all these names twists me up sometimes. But Steven Jackson, in an interview with Steven Jackson, he said he thinks he, being Roy Jones Jr., said that he believes that Gervonta is one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world. What he said was pound for pound best in the coop. Roy Jones Jr. likes to fight chickens, hens. What do you call it? Roosters. I don't want to say COCK fighting, pause, but he uses a lot of analogies to roosters fighting. So he said he's one of pound for pound best in the coop. And he explains exactly why. And this is what I've been saying for a long time, but I haven't said it in the same way that he said it. He says that, look, this man can punch. This man can box. This man can circle left. He can circle right. He is one of the most well-rounded fighters in all of boxing. And he said him and Terrence Crawford. The only people that he mentioned with Gervonta Davis was Terrence Crawford and their ability from the southpaw stance to be able to do all of those different things. Now, for me, I've said that because of the 4 scoring criteria in boxing, which is defense, ring generalship, effective aggression, and clean and effective punching. And I don't know of anybody in boxing except for maybe Terrence Crawford that has that same package that Gervonta Davis has. Like Shakur, take Shakur Stevenson, for example. Shakur Stevenson's a great fighter. I got him in my top 10 pound for pound for sure. He is ring generalship, awesome. Defense, awesome. Clean and effective punching, decent. Effective aggression, not a lot of it at all. So when you look at the 4 scoring criteria of boxing, you see that he's not as well-rounded as Gervonta Davis. Now, something else that Roy brought up was the fact that Gervonta also knows how to set punches up. This was brought up by Steven Jackson, that he knows how to set punches up. He knows how to walk people into shots, right, by moving backwards. And I think that Gervonta, that goes to just goes to the point of IQ and just being an intelligent person all the way around. Now, Gervonta Davis is not necessarily the most, well-spoken. Well, let me not say that about him because he gets his message across very, very clearly. But anyway, man, I just am really happy that Roy Jones said that. I think that it's always been a very political thing that kept Gervonta Davis off those lists. I think even now, if I looked at it, ESPN is going to have him somewhere around number 8 pound for pound, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, they may put somebody in there that's a heavyweight. I don't put heavyweights on mine, so they will clog up a couple spots for heavyweights. The reason why, and I've said this a bunch of times, the reason why I don't put heavyweights on pound for pound lists because there's no need. A heavyweight that is no weight class. Anybody that wants to fight at heavyweight can go fight at heavyweight if they want to get their block knocked off. And those guys don't have to fight. They don't have to weigh in at the same amount as their opponent. You have Deontay Wilder weigh in at 213 and fight Zhang, who weighs in at 270. So you have a guy come in at 201 that's got to fight a guy that weighs 270. I just have never really thought that was right to do. But if you go my way and you take off the heavyweights, not having Gervonta Davis in the top 3, to me, is ridiculous. There's no way I don't see any way that anything in Monster Inoue that puts him ahead of Gervonta Davis. Monster Inoue is doing the same thing Gervonta Davis is doing. The only thing is that they're pulling out the trinkets. Is that they're putting the trinkets on the line. You can't tell me that these guys that he's beating are better fighters. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.